Hello and welcome to Kingston Now. I'm Jimmy Buff. This week we'll check on the new home port for the sloop Clearwater. We'll talk to Mary Jo Gibson, wife of Congressman Chris Gibson, about her work with the Congressional Spouses Group, and Lisa Murray about suicide prevention. And we'll start with Jeremy Ellenbogen, the CEO and architect of 721 Media here in Kingston. Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, how's it going, Jimmy?
Good. Now, we feature on the show, we feature a lot of innovative businesses in Kingston. 721 is actually the producer of this TV show. If you weren't, we would feature you as an innovative business. So let's go ahead and do that and talk about the amazing things happening here at 721. But before we do that, tell me about the origins of the business.
Well, I've been in the media business for about 20 years now, mostly in television. And
you got started in this very room, right?
Exactly, yes. I actually interned right here. I filled in during the summers doing sound, probably like 3 feet away from this very spot right here.
And that was back in the day when RNN broadcast news from this building, and they've since moved.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So it's a little different being here. You know, we've remodeled quite a bit, and it's definitely been an exciting ride.
Now, Ellenbogen Media Group, which evolved into 721 Media, was in a different part of Kingston, and you came into this building when?
Well, we were in business since 1984, and in 2005 we had the idea of creating a media center here, as crazy as it may have sounded. The building was up for lease at that point. It was not for sale. We suggested to the sellers of the building, or the previous owners of the building, that, hey, why don't you sell the building? I have this great idea, or at least I thought it was a great idea at that time. Let's create a media center and do like this whole creative media cluster where there are multiple people in the same type of industry in one building, and sharing shared services like the TV studios that are here, conference room, other various equipment and media services. So, and that's how the idea was born. Before I even had any lease or any loan or anything for the building, I took the idea around to a lot of colleagues of mine, and I said, hey, if we were to build this facility, would you join us? And before, you know, taking this right to the bank, I had about 7 signed leases already before we even had an agreement from the bank to actually buy this building.
So what happens in 721 Media? Who are some of the clients who are here now?
Well, we like to think of ourselves as this leading edge digital media company up here in upstate New York, and we have basically everything in the digital media industry covered. So we have radio, there's a radio station here, we have television, we have video production companies, audio production companies, 2 marketing firms, 3 web development firms, 4 graphic design companies.
Wow. And
even fitness rooms downstairs to keep everybody healthy. You know, we had a lot of screen time, so you have to get some of that energy out. So we have kickboxing, we have karate, we have a full gym down in the underground of the building too. So. And
you even have a congressman now in the building.
Yes, we have a congressman. Congressman Gibson just moved in a few weeks ago. And so we have pretty much every side of it covered. In fact, he's excited to start doing these press conferences and these town hall meetings live here in the studio right behind us. And we do our first one on the 11th of February. So that.
And so he can do that here and stream it to anyone who wants to watch on the internet.
Exactly. Yeah. The first one we're going to be doing is for the Veterans Association, so that will be interesting. He's excited about doing that because he normally hadn't had a facility that could do something like this at any of his other satellite offices. So
the business has changed a lot since you first started in this room all those years ago. It's evolved to this place where traditional delivery systems of things, even like news, is different because people can get what they want when they want on the internet. How does that affect some of the overall philosophy here at 721?
Well, it's affected a lot of ways. When we first started here, or when I first started here in the early 90s at RNN, it was all television. I mean, it wasn't even the thought of internet.
Yeah, you had a giant
point,
satellite dish on the
roof.
roof.
Yeah, there's a satellite dish out, but that's gone these days. But now everything's internet and everything's integrated media. So when we produce content, we produce it for multiple different streams. So you produce it for the web, you produce it for television, you produce it for durable media like DVDs, and mobile devices now are becoming the biggest way of delivering media to iPads and iPhones. But you know, at the end of the day, the content still has to have good content. You still have to have good writing. You still have to have good shooting, lighting, sound. Those things don't change. Just the delivery methods change, and that's what people really need to realize.
So what do you see going forward? What do you see in the near future for 721 Media?
Well, we hope to continue more of the same. We hope to start to do a lot more content creation out of here, which we're already doing. Not only this TV show, but we have several other shows that we're doing. And when I say TV, it doesn't necessarily mean television as you and I would think of it and the way we're watching it right now. And you know, that's internet channels, mobile channels, podcasting. But what we also see is the ability to produce a lot of content quickly. And some of that can be done through green screen production, so you don't have to keep changing sets all the time. In our other Studio B on the other side of the building, we can do that very nicely through green screen, and then we computer generate the background, putting whatever we want as our set. The other thing we're going to be doing a lot more is outreach and teaching what we do. In the second week in February, we have the start of SUNY Ulster starting to run their digital media classes here, which is great for us in the building because we have a nice bullpen of new students and hopefully some rising stars that may become employees here someday. As well as working with young people is a great thing in general.
It's such a great energy with people who are eager to learn and to perhaps be on the vanguard of what comes next in media.
Yeah, so we hope to start to do a lot more with education, making this like a turnkey education facility, not only for SUNY Ulster, but for other colleges like Bard, Marist, other colleges that are interested in doing digital media education. And what better place to do it in an environment where there's actually people that are doing this for a living.
Well, it's exciting to be here and be part of it.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.
You're watching Kingston Now, and next we're going to talk with Mary Jo Gibson, wife of Congressman Chris Gibson, about her work with the Congressional Spouses Group. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Kingston Now. Joining us is Mary Jo Gibson, wife of Congressman Chris Gibson, and Lisa Murray, a board member for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to start with you, Mary Jo. You are part of a Congressional Spouses Group that is involved in suicide prevention. How did that come to be?
Well, first, thank you very much for having us on the show today. Really, really appreciate having this opportunity to talk about this issue. Basically, I have a background. I'm a clinical social worker, and my husband, who is a member of Congress currently now, I had met a gentleman his name is Eric Marcus, and who wrote a book called Why Suicide. And during our meeting, he had mentioned that he was on the American this board of AFSP. And later on reached out and asked if I wanted to be involved in a spouses group on suicide prevention and education. And I said yes. I was then followed up with an email and asked if I wanted to co-chair the group, and because the group had not been started yet. Basically, it's the co-chairs are two spouses from the House side, two spouses from the Senate side, both Democrat and Republican spouses, and basically, they're trying to do symposiums a few times a year as spouses are in town in D.C. for different events. And then the spouses can take the information that they gather from the symposiums and share them in the district, whether they want to do an op-ed piece, whether they want to do a letter to the editor, whether they want to do a public service announcement. Any way we can help in this cause. And the focus, they are four particular areas that we're focusing on, is the veterans and military, continuing to encourage the work that is already being done there. In Native Alaskan American Indians, rise in seniors, suicide in seniors is another area that we're looking at to try and help to reduce this rise, as well as adolescent through college age education and prevention. So these are four areas. So in these symposiums, we'll have different speakers. Our first speaker, which was this past spring, was General Graham. He came and spoke, he and his wife Carol. They had lost their son in combat and also lost their son to suicide. And he and his wife go across the country and try to encourage people to receive mental health, to be able to address issues that are going on, so that we realize we need to normalize we need to take away the stigma of reaching out for help. And so that was an opportunity for some of the spouses, the first time ever, to meet. We have now on our mailing list about 40 spouses, and continue to have more and more interested as we talk about this group. And so this is our effort and the best we can to help people know that they're not alone.
Indeed, actually what I'm curious about is where have we come in terms of suicide prevention? Are there new tools being used? What is the suicide rate going up in? I guess, as Mary Jo was saying, in some places it is going up, but overall, what is going on with suicide?
Yeah, it is going up, actually. When I started in this organization, it was every 16 minutes in this country somebody died by suicide. Now it's every 14 minutes. So that's not a good number if you ask me. But our organization is trying to get the word out, educate people, educate students. I go into the classrooms, the health classrooms. There's a DVD that we have called More Than Sad, and it has 4 different people, 4 teenagers that are doing things in their life. One is drinking alcohol at parties and being crazy, and it depicts their mental illness, and hopefully these teenagers will realize that one of their friends or themselves is like that and will go get help. So I talk to them each class for like 40 minutes and I tell them my personal story and tell them what I went through and that I'm here, that I don't want them to do that. And they do have the power to help their family member or their friend if they are in trouble. So that's what our organization is doing. They have videos, we have walks to raise awareness. We need more education in our schools. We have Safe Talk, which is also an event that we have for schools that you can recognize the signs if somebody is depressed. There's different invitations that sometimes people will give you, okay, to say that they are suicidal. One of them being giving away prized possessions. One of them, of course, saying, I'm going to take my life. A lot of people don't say that, but there are some that do. And there are definite signs that you can tell that somebody is in trouble and what to do about that when you get to that point. There's also an assist training that we have, and it was a 2-day training that I went to. And one of the exercises we had to do was it was probably a year after my brother took his life. I had to stand, one of the trainers had to stand on a chair and pretend that it was a bridge, and I had to talk them down off the bridge. That was very hard for me. That was one that was hard, even though he didn't do that. But the other thing that was really hard for me was we had to sit in a circle with a bunch of people, and we had to say, are you going to take your life? We had to say those words out loud. It was so hard for me, it took me about 15 minutes to say those words. And I think most people would feel the same way, you know? It's not something you have on a daily basis, a conversation. Do you have a plan? Are you thinking about suicide, you know? You have to start saying these words, okay, to help others. And I'll say less than a year later, I was coming across the Kingston-Rhinecliff Bridge. This is just a story to tell you. And I was with my daughter who was in college, and we were going to Sam's Club, and all the brake lights stopped. And I said, oh my gosh, somebody's trying to take their life. And on the other side of the road, some woman had stopped and got out of her car, and there was people that had stopped, which was good, but they were standing like 10 feet away from her. So if she would have gotten onto the bridge, she probably would have gone over. So I just threw my car in park, I ran over, and I just went right up to her, and I said, are you okay? And she had her head down on the bridge, and I said, you know, are you okay? And she says, no. She says, I'm a weirdo and I'm broke. And I said, no, you're not a weirdo. And she picked her head up and she said, no, widow. So it was kind of funny when I said it because I didn't know she was saying that, but it broke the ice. And she turned and looked at me, and she had, she got apart from the bridge. She couldn't get up there. She took my hand until the police came, and we just conversed until they came and took her to get her some help that she needed. So the training worked very well for me to do that and be able to know exactly what to do in that situation.
Well, you're both doing amazing work, and thank you for being here and telling people about it.
Thank you for having us.
This is Kingston Now, and coming up next, we're going to take a trip to the Rondout waterfront for the first winter open boat day for the sloop Clearwater in our new home port of Kingston. We're here with Nick Rogers, one of two captains of the sloop Clearwater at your new winter headquarters on the Rondout in Kingston. So how are the new digs treating you?
Well, they're great. They're warmer and a lot more comfortable. We've been in Saugerties for quite a bit of time, actually, and I think that the great thing about this place in Kingston is, a day like today when we can have the public down and feel really comfortable about it. I was a little worried about our space down there in Saugerties sometimes when we would have this many people around.
Today is an open boat day and people can come down and see the work you're doing on the Clearwater this winter. What is the work that you're doing on the Clearwater?
Well, it's a lot of work actually, and it's a
we can see the boat behind us.
Yeah,
You've got the hull opened up.
It's good timing for our new home port. So we're replacing as many frame sections as we can in the aft section, and also a structural piece called the horn timber, which is it's a little structure like the keel almost, as important, that supports all the frame sections and all the planks as well on the outside. She'll be 44 in May, so 43 whatever, pretty close to 44. This is the first time we've done this extensive work in the aft section. They did this quite a bit of work from the deck level only about 7 years after she was built, because she was built with a lot of red oak, but that was from the deck section. They went down, and these frames that we're getting into and the horn timber that we're getting into are all mostly original stuff. So maybe one or two here and there, but so how often? I don't know, maybe every 44 years, I guess. Hopefully this time it'll last a little longer.
Now you have an actual workshop for the winter work. How has that helped?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're finishing moving in. We've moved a lot of tools down from Saugerties, and we have some more stuff to do too. We've set up a lot of benches, and we brought a lot of our lumber stock down. So, yeah, I mean, we have a place that's warm to take our breaks and to work in, and a nice working space in there.
And when will the Clearwater be back in the river?
Our first group comes sailing the first week of May, so
you have a little bit of a deadline, huh?
Yeah, we have a deadline, and we're excited about it. Kind of gets us going on the weekends too. So 7 days a week we'll be working down here.
We're here with Clearwater Board President Allan Shope, and Allan, in September we stood on this very spot for the barn raising of the winter port for the Clearwater, and at the end of that day it was just a frame structure. Now there's a completed building. Tell me what's happened between September and January.
Well, a lot. We've pushed very hard. That was 16 weeks ago. And in 16 weeks, we have completed the building. So all of the walls were filled in. The roof was built. All of the siding was put on. White oak walls and floors were installed. And electrical was done. All utilities were completed. So it was a hectic, busy schedule that involved long days and 6-day weeks. We had as a goal to finish the building in 16 weeks after the structure went up, and have accomplished that. And we needed that to happen in order to be ready for our wintertime sojourn here with a boat.
So how does it feel to have the building completely functional?
Well, it's the best. I guess it depends what you call the planning stage. The planning stage really began 42 years ago when someone decided to build a boat but forgot to make a place to fix the boat in the winter. And so for 42 years we've been working on fixing that problem. I've often said lightly, for 42 years, I've never been able to offer our crew a bathroom. And for the first time, our boat has come into a port, and they have their own bathroom, and they have their own heat, and they have their own protection from the wind. And for the first time, they have their own space to put their own tools to be able to call a home port. And the very idea of having a home is wonderful for Clearwater, both psychologically and physically.
Linda Richards, you are the events coordinator for the Clearwater organization. Is this the first event in the new education center?
Yes, it is. It's our
What
very
went into
first one.
planning this?
This is pretty much a long-standing Clearwater tradition, so there wasn't that much to plan because we've had the template for the whole existence of Clearwater. We've had winter open boats up at our building, our barn that we used to lease from in Saugerties, Lynch's Marina. And we had open boats there for years and years, and just people getting together and coming down to the barn and having hot cider and talking to each other and listening to some music. But this is pretty exciting.
And you were also part of the entertainment.
Actually, no. Lydia Adams Davis was our children's performer, but she was sick and couldn't make it, so I was just the last ditch.
So as events coordinator, you fill in when the talent can't make it?
Well, yeah. I sing for Clearwater also.
You did a great job. That
Thank
Woody
you.
Guthrie can write a song, huh?
Yes.
So what events are coming up for the Clearwater?
This is our first winter open boat. We have 2 more. We have 1 each month. We've got 1 in February. It's February 22nd. That's a Friday night. It's from 4 to 8 p.m.
Is that unusual to have it on a Friday evening?
I was trying, this was kind of new. I was trying to change it up a little bit to appeal to different audiences at different times. So we've got one, today is Sunday afternoon, the next one is Friday night, and they're early in the evening, and then the next one is a Saturday night.
And what date is that one?
That's March 16th. And they're both from 4 to 8.
And for an open boat, for someone who's just hearing about what an open boat day is like, run it down.
Well, folks from the community can come and bring a potluck meal and enjoy each other's home cooking and visit the home port, walk around the building, enjoy some music, talk to each other, learn about Clearwater's programs and some of the issues that we face environmentally in the area. Go out and see what renovations are being done on the boat. That's a very, very big draw. I'm sure that you know about that. The boat is on a barge right now, and the underside is being restored, and you can't go on the boat, but you can see the boat from under. Not from under the water.